Hey there. So in this video, we are going to take a look at the student working document. So in the first day of the class, I'm going to share with you a document that's going to look exactly like the one I'm going to go over now, except instead of saying template, it's going to have your last name and first name and say student working document. Now, the first thing upon opening this, I want you to do is to not panic. I know that sounds a little crazy, but what I am sharing with you is, if I come over here, is a 37-page document. And that sounds like a lot, and it sounds really strange, and it can be overwhelming to see on the first day of class, but I assure you, there's nothing to panic about. What I've done with this document is create a series of templates around the different assignments and activities that you're doing throughout this semester. And so the goal is that you'll come here and you'll compose the work here, you'll hold it here, and this can be this one space that you and I share that we can have feedback back and forth throughout the semester, so that as you're learning, as you're going through these different pieces, these different assignments and activities, you can continue to see the previous feedback. You can see it in relation to the other things that you're doing, so that there's something really important and valuable when you sit down to do your first week reader response, and then later on when you're writing your week 6 reader response, to see the differences. Where have you changed in terms of your writing, in terms of your style, etc. So that's the first and foremost, is just don't panic. It's okay. This is a document that here you will be adding to, and that is laid out in a way to help you figure out what are the things you need to address and do in the course. So this is where you're going to be going to do most of your work. The one assignment that you won't be doing or be putting here are your annotations, and that's a topic for another time. So as you come in, the first things I'm going to recommend you do is to actually come here to View, and I'm going to recommend Print Layout, because that will break this document up into pages, as we would think in terms of if we were to print them. And then come back up to View, and I would strongly recommend selecting the document outline, right? So right here where it says Show Document Outline under View. Now what this does is this gives you on your left-hand side, this is a navigation panel. So I can click on any of these and quickly jump to it. I can also do it here on the table of contents. So if I want to go to Reflections in Week 2, I click, it gives me the link, I click on the link again. And boom, it brings me there. But once I'm down here, I can't really move around that much, and that's where the outline on the left side is really useful, because actually maybe I realized, I'm not in week 2, I'm in week 3. So I can just click right there and it brings me down to week 3. All right, so just a little, a few tips on understanding that sidebar navigation. As I said, overall, the goal of this is a guide. It is here to help you think about each and every assignment. So let's take a look at week 2. Week 2, one of your first assignments of that week is the reader response. That is, you're going to do the literature readings, which are the readings that are due on Thursday. And after you read it, you want to come in here and do your initial response. And so what you have is a series of prompts. And the goal here is not to prove you're right. The goal is not to have so much the right answer, but is to sit with and really try to think about what it is that you're experiencing and what it is that you understand about what you read. That's what I'm looking for. You're not going to have the right answers necessarily right away. Part of getting to figuring things out with literature is practicing. So the idea you'll see here is you'll have your first prompt, set a 5-minute timer and respond to this prompt. And so you have a prompt that says, without revisiting the learning materials for this week about nonfiction, write down everything you can recall from these materials and what you learned about nonfiction writing. So I go through, and each time I give you kind of what you should be doing, and then I give you the space to enter that in. And so you'll want to go through these couple exercises. It may take up to a half hour, it might take 45 minutes, but it's a writing exercise to help you both think about what you're learning, but also get some practice at learning. From there, we also have the reflections. And again, it's a very similar dynamic at the end of the week after you've done all the work. The reflections are an opportunity for you to sit back, sit and reflect and capture what are some of the things that you've done. And then when it comes time for the larger assignments, such as the article analysis, it's simply a placeholder, right? So you would come in here, you'd have quick access to the guidelines, and You'd put in your name, your date, what the assignment is, give it an original title, and start writing. And when you're done, you're done and you come up here to share. And when this pops up, you're going to have a very similar screen like this. And you'll come down to change right here where it says change to anyone with the link. And you want to make sure here again, you change to viewer, or you choose from viewer to commenter. And then you hit copy. And that's been copied to your clipboard. Now that is the link that I want you to submit in your assignments in Blackboard, right? So whenever you go into Blackboard and you see any of these assignments, there are places for them that ask you to submit. And what I'm asking you to submit is this link, the link that allows me to go in there and comment. So you just want to do that for each assignment. It's a little clunky, I admit, but it's really the only way that I can connect what you're doing here with the gradebook in within Blackboard. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm happy to show that again. If people request it, feel free to reach out and let me know. But that's really all this document is. I know it can look big and look overwhelming, but it's not as intense or as challenging as it may feel upon the first time coming into it. So hopefully that makes sense. Give yourself some time to kind of get into the document. I have different areas where you can jump around and learn a bit more about it. And I hope this makes sense. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. All right. Thank you very much.